Mo, can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Guess we're live. Good evening, everybody. Today is welcome to the Southport Planning Board meeting. Today is January 15th, Wednesday. Last I knew. Tonight for your viewing pleasure at home, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We'll have the invocation by Doug tonight. Do the Pledge of Allegiance, approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes, public comment if there is any, committee reports if there are any, old business, new business, and staff reports, as well as board comments. Tonight we have Doug Louie, who is, just so everybody knows, welcome to 2026. Hope everybody had a great holiday. And I should start by saying, if any of you got new phones, practice putting them on mute so that we don't have ringing during the meeting. Doug Louie on our side, Bob Lambert, Fred Fisk, Vice Chair, John Bovee, and Ed Eckert on the other end. Ed will be sitting in tonight as a voting member due to the vacancy we have on the seat. So out in the audience, Maria Horton is joining remotely. Mo Meehan, who is our Development Services Director, is also joining remotely. Wendell is here tonight. Wendell Biddle from Development Services. Scott Balgeron, Assistant City Clerk. He's the one that's going to keep us all in line tonight. And Cheyenne Ketchum, she's going to run the video and she'll make sure that she puts our best face forward. Also, we have Karen Marcella from the Board of Aldermen Liaison. So let's start first. If those that can stand could stand, and Doug will do the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, I'll just start off with something from Colossians 3, which I've been working on lately. Paul tells us, and above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony, and let the peace of be thankful. Let's pray. Jesus, it's a new year, a time for new starts. We thank you for the last year. We thank you for bringing us here through thick and thin, through trial and tribulation, and even many blessings. We pray those blessings would continue on this community of Southport. And we pray that we could be a blessing and builders as well in this planning board, for the professional staff too that supports all of us. And above all, Father, that we serve you well by serving others well. In your name we pray, Jesus, amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Doug, for that very nice invocation. Start us off right in the new year. First thing up tonight is need a motion for the approval of tonight's agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
John, thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
I'll go with Fred. Sorry, Fred on the second. Thank you. Motion been made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Next up is the approval of minutes. Just for those that the city was a little stretched last year with some personnel and staffing being pulled all over the place. So we're catching up on some of the minutes. So the first one that we have up tonight is Maria. You can hear us, correct? Did she drop off? All right. I thought I saw her on. Thank you. So the first up is March 27th, 2025 Plan Board meeting minutes. Do I have any? Those are found on page 3 of your agenda. Does anybody have any motions or thoughts or comments on those?
Hey, sure, just a quick.
Sure.
Sorry, Doug here. Just a quick thought. There was several emails that were brought in, and I don't recall that over the last couple months. Was that a special event, or do we also ask for emails that we will begin to read at the meetings? Yeah, I'm looking at the 3/27/2025, and it looked like there were in the second page 13 emails received. So I wasn't sure if that was a special event, or do we continuously collect emails and read them if we receive them, or have we moved to past that?
Yeah, I think at the time it was regards to the planning board taking a look at discussing the courthouse and what was being done with it. So those were emails that were submitted as part of that meeting. If you want, I'm sure we can ask staff to pull those up for you and send them on to you.
No, I was just wondering if that was something we did continuously, or it was a special.
No, it was just happenstance that a lot of people wrote in that weren't able to make it to the meeting, that wanted to voice their opinion about what should be done with the old courthouse, which ultimately is decided by the Board of Aldermen to be the police station, as well as a function area for the Board of Aldermen for their meetings. So,
Mr. Louie, if I can say something, when you speak, can you make sure you turn your microphone on? We will not be able to hear you at home.
Yes, thank you.
and we want to hear you at home. So do we have a motion on the minutes for March 27th, 2025? To approve them?
I make a motion that we approve.
Okay, Doug, thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Robert, thank you. Motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so voted, motion carries. How about for the May 2nd, 2025 Planning Board Special Meeting Minutes? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Robert. Motion.
Second.
Fred, second. Thank you. Motion been made and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstained, so voted, motion carries unanimously. Then lastly, the minutes for August 21st, 2025. Do we have any motion on those?
So moved.
John, thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion been made and seconded. Do we have discussion? Ed?
Clarification.
Sure.
I think in this particular meeting minutes, if I'm not mistaken, I saw a reference to a Mr. Horton. Just a clerical error.
Yeah, let me look.
Instead of Ms. Horton,
Mrs. Horton, yeah.
if you could you send that to me in an email exactly where you saw it? I can do a search in my system. It's not a big deal. I just
Sure.
want to make sure that I address your concerns.
Sure
Absolutely.
thing.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Mhm.
Ed, thank you. Do you remember which page those are on? I didn't catch that. So outside of that, subject to that change, I do see a Mr. Subject to that change, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st, 2025?
So moved.
John, thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you. You guys don't be bashful. Everybody speak up. So motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so voted. Motion carries. Thank you. Before we open up or do any votes for public comment, do we have any public comment tonight, Mr. Clerk?
No, sir. No, nobody signed up to speak tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you. We don't have any committee reports because we don't have any subcommittees right now. So old business, Mo is on the phone. Wendell, you presenting this tonight? All right, so tonight we have the UDO text amendment ZTA 25-05 vape tobacco shop. This was read through the last meeting, and tonight we'll either decide to approve, to recommend, to be sent to the Board of Aldermen for approval, or recommend not to approve, to be sent to the Board of Aldermen. So Wendell, you're up. Thank you. And Wendell, thank you for doing the work. I know last meeting we had a really thorough discussion on this. So I appreciate your efforts to go through this and bring those changes forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, board members. Good evening, and tonight we're talking about text amendment Zulu Tango Alpha 2505. It is a request made by the Aldermen at their October 2025 scheduled meeting. This request concerns the creation of zoning standards and the implementation of a special use permit for vape tobacco shops within the city of Southport. Currently, vape tobacco shops are considered general retail and may go in any particular zone that allow said use. However, sorry, I lost my place. Okay, let's see if that works now. Let me start over. The request concerns the creation of zoning standards and implementation of a special use permit for vape tobacco shops within the city of Southport. Currently, vape tobacco shops are considered general retail and may go in any particular zone that allows retail use with minimal standards. As a refresher, this text amendment was heard at the November 20th Planning Board, where it was met with some confusion and sent back to staff to rework for further clarification. Though the zoning designator remains the same, it will be permitted in the HC zoning district by way of special use permits and with specific use standards. That's what the SS stands for underneath the HC zoning designator. Staff did alter those standards. Here we see I don't know what's going on. When I click forward, it wants to go back, so I apologize. And yeah. So here's the language that was before the November 20th planning board meeting. These standards right here were really kind of just what we found in other jurisdictions. And we put together and we thought we could adopt this and surely that would be good enough. However, after our conversation in November, we realized that 1,000 foot distance from schools, daycare, youth facilities, etc., that would be creating some non-conforming situations, which we can't do. That's something that we found out after the fact. And then we thought that item number 4, the signage, that's redundant and unnecessary. Our sign ordinance already stipulates as much, so we didn't need that. This is the new language right here. We changed that 1,000 feet to 500. And that keeps us from making sure that we're not creating any new non-conforming situations. We deleted the signage language. And then just so that we would keep our 6 clean, we added a new provision that stipulates that this provision does not apply to land uses that lawfully existed prior to the effective date of this text.
Why did you need that?
So just in case that this is actually something that's being commonly used to implement, excuse me, this is something that's commonly implemented to get around some of that legal language that downzoning has created for us. This keeps us being able to make sure that if there are existing structures or operations, we are not doing anything illegal by saying these standards apply.
So in a sense,
Retroactively.
they continue to be grandfathered.
Correct.
Thank you.
So this is the previous definition. Let me read it out loud. A retail establishment where 30% or more retail floor area or total sales is dedicated to e-cigarettes, vaporizers, nicotine products, kratom, CBD, hookahs, and other smoking paraphernalia. One of the contentious points of conversation in November was that 30%. How do we regulate that? How do we determine what is 30% of the total sales floor or the stock room? So what we did is we created a new definition, and I'll read that out loud. We did away with the 30%, and we said, an establishment dedicated to the retail sale of tobacco or marijuana products including CBD and kratom, or tobacco or marijuana paraphernalia. A vape or tobacco shop does not include bars, nightclubs, or other establishments allowing on-site consumption of tobacco, or grocery stores, convenience stores, or similar retail uses that sell tobacco products or tobacco paraphernalia as an ancillary sale. So this definition was developed just to make sure that some people had concerns that cigar bars, for instance, would be lumped into this text amendment. And because that's technically a bar, it would not be. So. Well, this concludes my presentation. Thank you, and I can answer any questions regarding it or the staff report.
I'll open it up to the floor. Any questions?
Few questions, Chair. Hey, when you say non-conforming, so 1,000 to 500, what were you guys thinking? What were you seeing?
So there's an existing vape tobacco shop off of Highway 211 that is within 400 or I forget the distance of a church. So what we wanted to do is make sure that we were covering our bases, not only with that language that said that any existing stores doesn't have to come in compliance with this, but also making sure that we're not creating a situation where we've kind of retroactively made them non-conforming. Did that answer your question?
I think so, but let's pretend for a second we kept clause 5 and we made clause 1 say 1,000. then that would not, trying to think of the right word, put the existing shop in non-compliance because they get a buy with 5, but we still protect I'm guessing the 1,000 feet is to protect children from being near places that we don't want them to consume, like across from a high school.
Precisely.
Okay.
So we looked at it further, and 1,000 feet in a condensed area like the HC zoning district, that basically almost surely zones out any other competing vape shop.
Yeah.
500 is a much more reasonable number and distance. It's still restrictive. It's still protecting young children, and it's not muddling the waters of those softer zoned businesses like churches and schools and stuff.
Okay.
So that's where we got 500 from. It was in keeping with the location shall not be within item number 2, 500 feet of residentially zoned districts. And
Okay. If I get the spirit of it, then is we're trying not to make it impossible. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. And then the other idea is, I think we kind of dropped nicotine in favor of tobacco. Is that sort of what happened there?
we thought that tobacco is more encompassing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And the idea then, the further language in there is, hey, we're not targeting a 7-Eleven or a Circle K. We're not targeting a bread shop that happens to have some small amount of retail sale for Paytom or whatever. We're trying to focus pretty much on something that would call itself a vape and only a vape shop.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So this definition was meant to be as explicitly what we're talking about, basically what the alderman charged us with coming up with.
Yeah.
And it's without a doubt, is very clear about what we're talking about and what we're not talking about, which is things like bars or clubs, things like that would allow on-site use and things like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That it, Doug? Any other questions from the board? Once, twice, 3 times. Thank you, Wendell. So I'll entertain a motion that we recommend ZTA 25-05 for approval by the Board of Aldermen. Do we have a motion on that? Fred, thank you. We have a second.
I second.
Doug, thank you for the second. Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Just a comment, going back to November, I think some of our reservations as a board were in maybe the definition of vape tobacco shops and what it included and what it didn't. In my mind, I think this is an improved definition that kind of covers those gray areas that we identified, and it gets rid of the 30%, which would be difficult to enforce. So to me, I think from what I remember from November, that was last year, if you remember, I think these the current definition meets our concerns as a board. So.
I would agree. I think staff has really gone through a great deal of work on this, make it work better. So I like the fact that it was vetted so heavily by the planning board. So that way, when it goes to the Board of Aldermen, a lot of the heavy lifting's been done by staff and this board. So anyways, any other discussion? Ed?
Just one clarification. I'm not a real student of this, but I didn't see any mention of hemp. Is that even a thing that should be included? Hemp? Is that a sold product or hemp cigarettes?
That would come under marijuana products, wouldn't it?
Yes. So hemp is
Included?
would come under marijuana products, which the definition covers.
Great, thank
I
you.
can mention, Chair.
Yep.
So just a quick Google search. Hemp and marijuana are both cannabis sativa plants, but the key difference is their THC content. So if THC is, I think, what we're interested in, at least that would strike me. sorry. And hemp has under 0.3% THC and is grown for fiber essentially, or CBD. So I think the 0.3% is the key. Is that, you think, Ed?
Just a question. I just saw it missing. I didn't know if it was okay to be missing.
Yeah, yes, great question. So basically, marijuana encompasses hemp, but hemp doesn't encompass marijuana per se, just because of the low THC, CBD levels. Hemp is, as was mentioned, is more used for fiber and textiles. You don't smoke hemp, so it's more of a rope or textile.
I beg to differ, but maybe it's less popular.
All right, any, this could bring up all kinds of discussion, but I think we'll, that'll happen sometime down the road. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So voted. Motion carries. Would somebody like to read the statement of consistency?
The City of Southport Planning Board hereby recommends adoption of the proposed zoning map amendment to the Board of Aldermen and finds that it is consistent with the city's 2050 CAMA comprehensive plan adopted October 9th, 2025. More specifically, embracing Southport's unique small commercial areas and historic downtown as an economic development opportunity, including context-sensitive uses that fit into the historic character of the city.
Thank you, Bob. All right, nice work on that one. Next up, Planning Board's rules of procedure. So in your package are two different versions. One is the straightforward unmarked version, which is on page 41 of your agenda. And the other one is to show what work was accomplished on it is on page 61 of your agenda. We have some questions on this, a couple of changes actually. And I don't know how the board would like to do this, but let me show you what I have so far. These were given to me. So rules of procedure on page 4 or 46 in your package is substitute short break for recess. Recess is almost a definition that you're officially moving away from the table and then you have to come back, where if you're taking a break, the meeting is essentially still active. The other one is on page 10, which is page 52 in your package. Let me just go to it. This is kind of important on this one. This is in respect to emails. So there was still some language on that we couldn't, last time we talked about it, we have in here, emails, while they may be submitted, will not be read during public comment, or we would include emails must be submitted at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting in order to be read into the record during public comment. What I'd like to suggest is that we strike that second sentence so that about the 24 hours, and then keep the first sentence and then substitute after that. So it'll read, emails while they may be submitted will not be read during public comment. However, and add the sentence, however, brief summary will be entered into the record. So that way emails come in, they'll be in our packages, but we're not going to read them during the meeting. And they'll also, a brief summary will be in the minutes, such as what you mentioned, Doug, on the meeting back from May, when we had that discussion. So you don't have the whole email in there. They're on file with the town clerk, city clerk, but there's no need to do them verbatim. So that's on the emails. Thoughts?
Chair, do we need to
Yep.
make a comment then that they will be included in our packets so that doesn't get dropped?
We can do that. Yep. And included in our packages. Okay. Packets. Sure. Good idea. And then the other one was, this was me playing with Word and not getting it right. on page 12 or page 54, the formatting J is also the same as J on page 53 of the procedures, 93 of your package. So I've got to go through and reset the formatting. It just basically means starting with K instead of J. So that's at the bottom of page 54. Any other thoughts? John?
I've got a few here, Larry. And I've got them on a Word document, but I'm going to try to tie them into the unmarked up version of the PDF. Let's see, page 44, right before Article 2. It's third line up. It says insert open meeting law reference here. And so I think we're missing a citation. It is on page 44, very top of the page, just before Article 2. Yeah. Yep. And I had sent you that reference, so I don't have to go over it here, but see, or I guess my comment was we can insert the actual citation, or we can cite the UNC document that includes that citation.
So
I think we had both.
Yeah, and one of the things that Scott gave us tonight was the City of Southport Planning Board voting, abstaining, and conflicts of interest. It's basically from out of that, and there's also another document having to do with from the School of Government as well. Sorry, it's buried under here somewhere. Yeah, thank you. So these could be added as links, but I agree with what you're saying, John. We need to either have the link or have the language. Anything else, John?
What would be easier for me to try to find them in the PDF or to send them to you?
Yeah, send them on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what we mean by insert the open meeting law reference here. Do we want the actual legalese? Do we want a summary? Do we want the whole gamut?
We had two links here at one time,
Yeah.
and find them. One was the actual regulation from the legislature,
Mm-hmm.
and then one was the UNC SOG document that had the same reference in it.
Yeah.
So we could specifically reference the open meeting law, or we can reference the UNC document.
What do you think would work best?
I think since we're talking about open meetings, the open meeting regulation from the legislature would probably be cleaner.
Okay. If you want to send that on, I will.
Okay.
And send it on again. I missed that. Any others? Keep going. Yeah, no, please do.
Page 49, conduct of the meeting. Actually, it probably spills over into page 50. Article 2, public meetings. All meetings of the board, and I think we wanted to include the phrase including board subcommittee meetings and working sessions shall be open to the public. I think we discussed that. I don't know if we ever resolved whether to add that in or not.
Yeah. Do you not think all meetings covers subcommittee? Is that, so you're looking for including subcommittees?
We had talked about adding the phrase including board subcommittee meetings and working sessions. I think,
Mr. Chair, may I intervene here? Sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
That's actually, would be no, that's not accurate. Every meeting has to be publicly noticed, as you know, through open meetings law. Therefore, if you're going to have a quorum, it has to be noticed a certain amount of days. It has to be, made clear to the public that you're all meeting. Therefore, it's not something I believe that has to go into the rules and procedures because it's actually the state law that it happens. So I think at this point, we might just be almost too detailed. And obviously this is part of our office. So we would definitely make sure that if you're going to call a special meeting, a regular meeting, emergency meeting, if in the case, we would certainly, publicly notice those meetings for you and then make sure that there's quorum. And this is coming from the city clerk who is just watching the meeting from home.
All right, thank you. John, you're okay with that?
yes.
Okay.
The next one is under public address to the board. And that is on page 51, paragraph H. First article where it says sign up for non-agenda items. I think we had debated removing non-agenda items, right? Because that was not what the rest of the paragraph was about.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that one. Take that out. Got it.
And then this is a question that may pertain more to the next item on the agenda, but under Article 11, orientation and training, do we want to add a reference to our primer that we're developing in here?
I'm sorry, which page is that, please?
I haven't gotten to it on the
Okay.
PDF yet.
It'd be 14 of 17, sir.
Did you memorize this?
Yeah, so page 56. Yep.
Yeah, the copy that I have, it says, each new member, the planning director shall provide each new member a copy of the planning board handbook. Is that what you want in there? That's what I'm seeing on mine now in red. Page 14, 11A.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
Yep.
That's all I have.
So we're a step ahead of you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you, John. Those are great, great ads. Okay, anybody else? Doug? Sure. All right. Anybody else? All right, so can we have a motion to approve these subject to those changes, or would you rather the changes be made and bring them back for a final go over at the next meeting? What's the board's pleasure?
I think we should go for it.
Are you making a motion?
I make a motion that we, with these revisions, help me with this, Chair. Do we need to pass it over to, we recommend approval, we approve?
I think we can approve it.
Yeah.
Because it's our rules of procedure.
Good.
Sorry, we can approve it because it's our rules of procedure, but out of courtesy, we'll send a copy to the board of final finished copy to the Board of Aldermen.
Good, then I
For
move
their
that
awareness.
we approve and send a copy to the Board of Aldermen.
Okay, motion been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
John, thank you. Motion been made and second. And any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So voted. Motion carries. That's great. Thank you all. That'll help us rocking and rolling into 26. So next on is the Planning Board primer. Who is presenting that tonight? Is Maria on? Are you doing it, Doug?
Is Maria?
No.
Okay,
So you're up.
okay. Unless Ed, you'd like to. To the board members share, we've already discussed this, I think, several times, and everybody's had a chance to comment. Are there any further comments or concerns on the draft that you see before you?
Just ahead of everybody else. Page 4, which is 85 in your package. We need to do a spell check on vision.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. Somebody else did. Page 4, also page 85, under overlay, change that example, change residential parking to commercial parking. This is really not a good example. You're doing residential and residential this way, and overlay is used to do commercial parking in a residential area. So that would be my recommendation on that.
Okay. That makes sense to me. Is anybody else confusion or comment on that? Okay. What else?
Do we have a motion? Does there any other questions or comments on that?
Just one comment on the primer. So we have the rules and we have the primer, and we probably need to show how these things are stacked as far as what overrules what.
Yeah, and maybe it deserves us to take 2 steps back, and so I'll make a proposition and maybe we could discuss it. So over the top of everything, at least for this municipality, comes our comprehensive plan. And then in my mind, under that comes UDO. And somewhere in between there, as needed, comes the Board of Aldermen particular guidance that would not be covered or not covered specifically enough in the comprehensive plan. So that gives us our sort of strategy. The UDO, in a sense, brings that strategy in the future into near term or today, and helps us execute the strategy in a way that protects the residents of the community. And then these 2 things, John, sort of stand on the side and help us understand in a nutshell, number one, what our responsibilities are. And then when we have a meeting like this, how we should prepare for that meeting and then execute that meeting. So in a sense, they're almost like, what do you call it? Sidebars, or, we were talking the other day, Larry, sort of Paul Harvey's rest of the story. Like, why do we do things like that? That's how I view that. Is that helpful? And if somebody else kind of goes, hey, no, I think I'd think of it a little bit different. Because I think you're getting at, John, is what's the authority? What authorities are we bound by?
Yes, for instance, we have 2 documents. Does one, you have specifications, and you say the specifications override the drawings or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, we have 2 documents that we've created. One we may have to have created, right, the rules, but the primer was more an assist for us, right? So as far as priority goes, is there one that has priority over the other? In other words, if there's something in the primer that says it's blue, but the rules say it's green.
Yeah.
Is it green because it's in
Would
the
you
rules?
do you want me to tell you what I think, or maybe you would like to tell us what you think?
No, I'd like to hear.
So
what
I
you
think the rules and procedures tell us how to do things, and the primer, in a sense, kind of tells us the why, the how. But if those 2 things would come in conflict, and that's what we tried to keep those things from coming in conflict. But if they would, the rules and procedures would.
Yeah, and just think of it as state law is the one that rules over everything, and then the UDO. The handbook is supposed to be for new members and us as well, to be able to use that as a reference, like, how do I do this? Why am I doing this? What does this mean? Where the rules of procedure is exactly that. How do we do that? How do we act here as a board? What steps, what votes do we have to take? How are votes taken? Those sort of things. So it's, you got to think of that handbook is really just a reference. That's all it is, just a reference. And the meetings are run by using the rules of procedure to set some kind of order to our meeting as well. Sort of a mini Robert's Rules of Order, as you're an expert on. But Scott, you had a question?
So I just wanted to make a statement, just a clarification, just for Mr. Bouvet. Basically, sir, the primer is going to be just an introduction. The School of Government put it out, a great source. It's about 7 pages long, just a general information. When you get into your rules and procedure, that's how this board conducts business. With the UDOs and there was something else you mentioned, state laws, that's going to govern everything from the higher levels to make sure everything is, I don't know if this is making sense, but I just wanted to clarify as clearly as I could that that's kind of, it's not really a 1, 2, 3, the way you're thinking of it. It's more, this is going to introduce people to what we're doing. Public, as Chair actually said, public and the boards, and then rules and procedures, how you as a board conduct business, if that makes sense. Thank you for letting me share that.
Another way to think of it is, we mentioned along the way when we talked about how to use this, is that when there's a vacancy, if somebody's interested in applying, to give them the handbook so they can at least know what they're in for, instead of finding out when they get behind the table of these are some of the things you need to know amongst the 327 pages over there and the 300 and some odd pages over there. And the handbook's the briefest of the documents. So.
Chair, you also sent another, I think you sent it out for our edification, which was Coates Cannon's on local government law planning board basics. Did any, if you had a chance to take a look at that and made some comparisons, was there anything in there that you felt like needed to be in ours and was not present?
I think at the very least, having a link to it is a good idea. I don't think we'll go wrong by having that link added to it. That actually was sent on to us by Scott. He's keeping us out of trouble tonight and all the rest of the days of the week too. Okay. Another good work. Any other comments, thoughts, questions on this? I know it's been a tremendous amount of work by the subcommittee. You guys coming on board in August and really going to town on it. So we appreciate everybody's hard work. So if we have a motion to approve that, subject to those changes, which is the correcting the spelling, adding change residential to commercial, and then adding the link to the School of Government that was sent out. I need a motion.
Chair, I'll make the motion.
I second.
Ed, thank you for the second. Any further, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstained, so voted. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all. And that motion includes also sending that on to the Board of Aldermen, I assume. Correct? Yeah, thank you. Really nice work. We're going to be running into 26 at 100 miles an hour. So next up, goal setting. Don't have anything too deeply in particular. And I think Mo will be speaking to some of this when she does her part. But certainly some of the things we're going to do this year is fill the vacant seat that we have. We've approved the handbook and the rules of procedure. The comprehensive plan, which I think Mo will also speak to, is waiting certification by Coastal Resources Commission. It's a lot of work to be done once that's complete with the Unified Development Ordinance UDO, all 297 pages, and as well as other ongoing UDO changes that we'll make along the way. So we've got the draft dashboard report that Mo and Wendell put together, which is a great document. I've got to look through it still, but it's really just trying to capture everything that's gone on through the board. And as part of that, Mo and I have had a chance to catch up on seeing what kind of software, I saw something that Brunswick County is using a planning services software that would allow us to be able to do these reports automatically. So Mo's looking into that as well and seeing if we can't, piggyback off of Brunswick County or do it ourselves. So, but what else do we need to do? What are your thoughts on 2026 and what should we start setting for goals? I know some of the UDO stuff is going to happen and Mo will speak to that. But what thoughts might you have on anything else that we should consider?
Chair, and I'm not sure if it's kind of in the spirit of what you're asking, but if the question was, hey, what would you like to emphasize for 2026 for the good of the city? Then one thing that we're already working on is that connectivity, which is the multimodal study, and then I think grant assistance for us to do stuff. In my mind, that would be one of the great things we could do for town, is to get people the ability to move from where they are to the downtown area in a safe manner.
How would you do that?
Well, there's a couple ways, and we've already discussed them, and Mo kind of brought them forth, but there's crosswalks, there's, I don't know if this is the proper term, but there would be advisory lights at a crosswalk. I don't know, that's not necessarily a stop light, but maybe it's the same function as a stoplight. And then there are sidewalks or at least paths along streets or through residential areas. I don't know that there's a whole lot of flexibility we have just because of the way we're zoned here to do that. And then finally, and I think several of us had this discussion, John, you brought it up several months ago, is I'm looking at the bridge, and I like the way you put it, and I'm imagining putting a 4x8 piece of plywood along each side, and it just doesn't seem to fit. And to me, that is so key. As I watch people ride their bikes just on the other side of the stoplight by Walgreens, maybe on the way to Walmart or beyond. And I'm very sympathetic that there's some great places of commerce that you want to get to, but man, it's just scary watching people try to do it. And it would be great if we tried to address that in an aggressive way in 2026. My biggest emphasis is for what I'm thinking of as Southport proper, moving people from this side of the stoplight on how towards, the downtown waterfront area. But that commercial zone is certainly a area of interest too.
That's great. Thank you. Just for a point of information, at the Garden Club the other day, we had a gentleman, Sam, I don't remember his last name, from the Rural Planning Organization that talked about things like this, including sidewalks and bike paths and whatnot. And apparently on 211, as he told us when they started this work, that the bike path was in there, and then they started looking at the dollars, and the bike path was the very first thing to go. So which is just so wrong. When I agree with you, when I see people riding their bikes or walking along that area, there's no safe connectivity. I mean, the fact at the very least there should be a sidewalk on both sides so that people can walk up to the stores safely, into the police department safely. It's how more people haven't been harmed is beyond me. So, thank you. Did you want to add to this?
Yes, pardon me. This is why it doesn't work. Right. No, I just wanted to make mention that there is a multimodal transportation committee that's underway. I would love to invite you to our next meeting, sir, so you can express that information. But we've identified a lot of issues. I don't know if we identified this one in particular, but we have identified different transportation modes throughout the city, and that's something that is an ongoing discussion right now.
Yeah, thanks. And it was a pleasure, by the way, to be able to participate in the online survey. And several of the spots that were noted there for crosswalks were like, man, yes, we need something there.
Thank you. Pardon me for interrupting.
No, not at all. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Any other thoughts on 2026 and things to achieve, goals to set? John?
I think we, as a board, we want to make sure we don't lose momentum on stormwater. We know we passed the first of probably 3 groups of regulations and we certainly want to help staff continue to develop that because, you know, again, until we can do comprehensive stormwater that covers really more than we've done so far, we're not going to see the improvements that I think the public is expecting to see. We can't control the rain, but we can control to some extent how we manage the runoff.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you. Wendell, any status update on that? Do you know?
Yes, sir. So Director Meehan and Mr. Zelnick are working very closely on this right now. They were in meetings a couple of times this past week, not this week, but last week. I don't have a hard, fast date when to expect it. I know that it's going to be comprehensive, but we are going to be addressing a lot more stuff regarding stormwater, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything else for 2026? Sure.
One of the things that I would, there has been a lot of discussion lately with regard to preserving the trees in Franklin Square. And I don't think, and I agree with that preservation position, but I'd like to see it expanded to include the whole town. You know, and John, as far as stormwater mitigation, that stormwater trees take up a lot of that water. And I think we need to do more. I think we need to protect not just the live oak trees, but the other major trees that contribute to our beautiful landscape here. Thank you.
May I comment on that real quick?
Well
I apologize.
Thank you. Yes.
Excellent point, sir. That's something that came up in the forestry committee meeting literally Tuesday night. Ideally, because we will be working on text amendment amending the tree ordinance. And what we want to do is make sure that our tree ordinance talks to the stormwater ordinance and vice versa. That way, hand in hand, we will have a solid stormwater retention plan. And we'll maintain the beautiful canopy that Southport's known for.
Great. Thank you. Robert, thank you. Anybody else?
Just one more question. I think this goes mostly to Mo. Anything upcoming on conditional zoning for any other parcels? Any new parcels?
Good evening, Chair and board members. No, we do not have any applications for any conditional zoning parcels through anywhere in the city.
Thanks.
Don't hang up yet, Mo. So, anything else from anybody on 2026? You know, the floor is always open, so it doesn't mean it has to be done tonight. If you got other things during the year, let's make sure we keep them going. Biggest thing is keeping the UDO changes that we have, that we could have organized, so that when we pass them over to the Board of Aldermen, that we're not throwing 300 of them all at once, that they actually matter and that they actually mean something and that they are going to do something and they will work for the comprehensive plan. So there is, you know, I've been looking at it, wondering if I could fit the 327 pages from the 326 on the comprehensive plan and the 297 on the UDO into ChatGPT and say, what can you come up with? I think it would probably kick it right back at me and say, no, we're not doing that. And so that's our job, Mo's job, Wendell's job, and actually help from the public as well. So it's going to take some work. But switching gears very quickly, the meeting schedule is in here for 2026. Please throw in your calendars. And then I'm going to turn it over to Mo and Wendell for the staff reports.
Mr. Chair Ashley, could we do a motion on the agenda for the meeting schedule agenda? Just so you guys approve it.
Really? Okay,
Yes, sir.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a motion to approve the schedule for the regular planning board meetings for 2026?
I move to approve the schedule as written.
Thank you, Robert. Do we have a second? Fred, thank you for the second. Motion been made and seconded. Do we have any further discussion? Hopefully everybody likes these dates. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Anyways, motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstain, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. All right, Mo, Wendell, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. I'm trying to let Mo have a rest while she's out of town as much as possible. So unless I start floundering, I'm just going to leave her alone and out of this. First up, at the November 3rd, 2025 Board of Aldermen meeting, staff presented a detailed list of potential UDO updates that were compiled from comments submitted by the Board of Aldermen, Planning Board, and staff. The Board of Adjustments regular meeting was held on December 4th. The agenda had an appeal of a staff decision regarding a right-of-way code enforcement case, but the applicant had scheduling conflicts and is going to be pushing that to January 27th meeting. What was heard was a special use permit case concerning an accessory dwelling units at 729 North Atlantic Avenue. This case was met with some opposition and with stormwater concerns. There were a lot of engineer type questions that couldn't be answered that night. So the board elected to push that case to January's board meeting. However, the next day the applicant had made a withdrawal of his case. He's just going to do a by right building anyway and not turn it into an ADU. That being said, January 27th case load for the Board of Adjustment is pretty full. We have 2 special use permits, both for ADUs, and we have 2 code case appeals. And I expect that it's going to be a fun night. So. The Historic Preservation Commission was held on December 3rd, where several comments were made by the aldermen that are still under review. The next meeting will be held on February 4th. The Forestry Committee met this past Tuesday, where we found out that, and I invite you for a round of applause here, Director Meehan had completed and secured our city's 22nd annual Tree City USA Award. That is a huge ordeal.
Nice work.
Furthermore, several volunteers will be meeting this Saturday at 10 o'clock in Kingsley Park to learn how to inventory Southport's tree canopy. And the next meeting will be held February 10th in the JC building. That reminds me, I should have made notes. Right now, the Indian Trail Meeting Hall is under work and will be so until about April. So any meetings that would have been held there most likely will be deferred to the JC building or the senior building. Yes, sir.
Hey, Wendell, let me do a preamble to the question I'm about to ask. When I lived in Maryland, there was a Save the Chesapeake effort, and the idea is save the Chesapeake from what to what? How are you going to do it? And the idea was, hey, you know, when Captain Cook sort of sailed in there, we want to return the Chesapeake to what it looked like then. And the idea is everybody agreed in that is absolutely impossible. We will never ever do that. And yet it gave us sort of this ideal to work towards. When we talk about the tree canopy in Southport, is there something similar, like, hey, in the next something number of years, we want to keep it within plus or minus 10% of the current, or no, we want to expand it, or what is the idea? Has it been discussed like that?
That's a fantastic question. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that. That is a heck of a question, actually. I think the idea is just to make sure that the canopy still remains as is, as much as possible. That's why we have tree mitigation requirements for the removal of trees unnecessarily. And yeah, the idea is just to maintain Southport's tree canopy.
Okay, thanks. I'll maybe try to make a meeting and maybe pose that question unless you get to it first, so.
That'll be my first email tomorrow to Mo and Scott, and I want to say our comp plan actually addresses that.
Okay.
Too. I'm just not that versed in the comp plan yet to be able to answer that honestly.
The thing that I liked about that is it was sort of measurable in a sense. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it getting more? Is it getting less? And
So doesn't that play right into, you said Saturday, there is a meeting to learn how to do a tree inventory. So has a tree inventory ever been done of the entire city?
That's what the forestry committee is working on right now, actually. With Scott Lynn heading that up, and Vice Chair Fiss is also part of it. So we're working on doing a full inventory of all the city's specimen trees. And ideally, what we'll do is we'll have this inventory and it will be maintained at a staff level so that we know when they need to be pruned. We know if they become diseased, sick, whatever, and we can appropriate the funds and plan ahead to maintain those trees.
So that would play into, you need a benchmark in order to know your standards up, down, sideways. Is that open to the public? So can the public participate in learning how to do the tree inventory? Is that the goal? And where is that happening and when?
So the intention is to start the forestry committee members on how to inventory, the technique to inventory the trees and put it in a software. It's a free software that we're utilizing. It's only going to be looking at the city right-of-way trees or public land trees. So Saturday is just an orientation for the members. It's not like for the public to come and get involved. I mean, you're certainly welcome to know all about it. It's a free app that can be downloaded. And so the intention is that once the 7, 8 of us are competent to be able to do this, then at some point we'll split up and take different parts of the city and all compile it into this one software located on the city server, I guess. But each person will be operating independently with it's a free software, so it doesn't, everybody's software doesn't talk to each other, but we'll consolidate it so it'll be a central location, but so it won't relate to private property.
So can the public come and watch you?
Sure.
All right, good.
Guaranteed to be exciting.
All right, great, thank you.
Sure.
Sir.
Wendell, I just have one question. You mentioned something about specimen trees. Could you define specimen tree for us a little bit better?
Absolutely. The UDO defines it. So there's two types of trees that we talk about that we require mitigation for. One is a regulated tree, which is any hardwood that is 8 inches in diameter at breast height or greater, or any pine tree that's 12 inches in diameter at breast height or greater. Now, when you get to 30-inch trees in diameter DBH, that's when they become a specimen tree, regardless of the species, regardless of hardwood or conifer. 30 inches or greater is a specimen.
Thank you for that.
Anybody else? Wendell, anything else for us?
Yes, actually, as we were going through the meeting tonight, I got a text from Director Meehan also saying that we've officially been certified by the Coastal Resource Commission for the 2050 comp plan. So that's fantastic news too. So yeah. And that wraps it up for me.
So that means our work starts tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
It sure does.
This is
Okay.
the greatest of play, actually.
It's what?
It's great play, not work.
Yeah. Oh, we've got you on camera. So we'll replay that in about 3 months. But thank you. Anybody have any questions for Wendell at all? Okay, here are none. So,
Chair, just a
yeah,
brief one.
please do.
Hey, Wendell, on the very last paragraph of the very last page of the notes, it starts, staff continue to assist citizens with questions, et cetera. I think Mo answered this earlier, but there is nothing in addition to what you just briefed us on that you know about right now that would come under the characteristics of that last paragraph. Any other issues regarding right of way or zoning or camera permit issues or anything?
Looking, so regarding right of way, we will be sending out our final notice of violations for any right of way encroachments. Of the near 90 that we as in Harlan, Piles, and myself identified, we're down to 4, maybe 5 right of way encroachments. So those will be going out once we coordinate with Tom S. and Public Facilities. Mainly because if they don't remove the encroachments, Public Facilities will be doing it for them at their expense. CAMA is an ongoing thing, just at a local level. There's not been a whole lot of CAMA minor permits, but we've had a couple of CAMA major permits in the area, but they're like not within our jurisdiction. But I do get notified of them. Just the North Carolina. Sorry, I did realize I skipped the North Carolina Resilient Coastal Communities Program. Phase 1 and 2 project is in the beginning stages of preparing a vulnerability assessment reports. The early stages include data collection, stakeholder identification, and development of a community engagement strategy. Further information will be found on the Development Services website as it comes available. And as already mentioned, we've started working on the staff has started working on the development dashboard, and we will continue to fill that in as time is allowed to us.
Thank you. Jared, then I just have a question for you. So it looks like we got a draft dashboard here. I wasn't sure you wanted to discuss it. And then there's I wasn't sure if this was information that we requested last time, but it's just some more explicit information about it.
It is, Scott delivered it. We had asked for it back, I think, in October, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
If you've got comments on the dashboard, let's have them.
I do not. I was wondering if we were going to discuss it tonight.
No, I don't have it on the agenda, but I would ask that everybody take a look at it.
Yes.
Get feedback, send the feedback on to Wendell. He and Mo both have done a phenomenal job. This is part of why we need to get software so that we can ask these questions and they'll automatically, hate to say automatically, but it's not as easy as punching a button because it's going to take a lot of work to put all this data in there. But now that we have some of it started, it's going to be a useful tool, I think, as we start measuring, almost like what you said with the tree. Are we up, down? You know, where are we heading? Type of thing. You need some kind of a standard or some kind of a benchmark to know where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow. So that'll be helpful.
Will this be on the agenda then? It looks like we now got some momentum on the dashboard.
Yeah, we can put it on the agenda for next time if you'd like to discuss it. Sure.
I guess I have a few questions, maybe so preemptively we can address some of the things now. This looks great. I think in terms of project status for each of these categories, what might be nice is some, like it says for the first item on page 1, minor site plan, project status building permit. Where is that in the life cycle of that particular project? Like there's 5 steps. Building permit is number 3, and we anticipate this to be completed by such and such month. Just trying to get an assessment, like the ones that are marked complete, I'm assuming no further action is done, that we would never even consider that. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're marked complete. No further action is done on our end,
Okay,
and there's no further need to follow. It's end of the cycle.
right. So one of the things that I was hoping that from a planning board perspective, in the life cycle of each of these types of projects, when does the planning board get involved such that we might see, hey, in July, we're going to have 10 big chunky things on our plate. Is there anything like that that would show that in here where we could piece together information?
No, so by and large, all the items in here are past this stage of review. These are already, so as for development review of major site plans, then we would say, hey, it's in TRC, in which case next step would be planning board review. Well, assuming that TRC comments are made and corrected, and then it would be planning board approval. But anything beyond that, it's already past that. So for instance, building permit right there, that's beyond, it's already past the stage of planning board would review it.
So is there anything in here that would necessitate planning board action moving
Not
forward?
as of yet, no, sir.
Oh,
Now, as when we get new development, and there will be, um, when we get new major site plans in, there will be, but not as of yet.
Yeah, part of the pipeline is what it is. So we'll know when you've got something coming in the door and you've started acting on it, that should be added to this so we know where exactly what Ed's asking. When, you know, what 90 days from now do we expect to see it? That type of thing.
Yeah, the problem with giving an estimate of when we expect to see it is so much of the time, particularly say you're a developer, you come in, and we can hit the wickets and get you reviewed within 30 days, which is what our ordinance requires of us. However, if you don't answer our comments in 3, 6, 9 months, that's on you. However, part of the development review report that we do each month also would stipulate, hey, so-and-so came in for a minor or a major site plan, and this is where they're at. But then we would record it in the dashboard as well. So not only are we giving a verbal and a written recording of what to expect when we do our development review recap, but now we have a dashboard to track it as well.
thank you.
Just kind of as a follow-up to Ed's comments, I think the dashboard is a good idea, and it could be a good tool for us, you know, when we're discussing something. You know, remember back when we did this in 2023 or whatever. But so for that, under project status, it would be good to have dates. For instance, you know, building permit and a date next to it. So if it was 2 years ago, it isn't something we're worried about. But if we wanted to go review Barbie Enterprises on 115 North Howe, at least we'd have a date to start with. And same thing with complete. I assume that means it's built, right? So yeah.
Sorry, yeah, exactly, yeah, so like the tractor supply is completed, it's built.
Right. So if there was a date in there, I think that would kind of help us follow the dashboard a little bit more closely.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, part of the idea is to have, besides the dates, but also those that are complete, they fall to the bottom. So you'd actually have an active completed grouping, if you would. So that way we're really able to see what's happened, what's in the business, what's in process. But you also, one of the other things I had mentioned early on was doing a 50,000 foot view, which is then taking the numbers out of all these and saying, what did we do in 20, 22, 24, and then what's coming in 26. So you actually know based on these different things. It really is just a higher level, which is your cover page. So when the Board of Aldermen get it, they can actually have that one-stop shopping view to see this is what's been going on in the city over the past 5 years for development. So that's something we can continue to work on. So, and I'm hoping that depending on how Mo makes out with that software, that might actually help automate a lot of this as well. So, but you're absolutely right. The dates are important, and what's in the pipeline is very important too. But we can put it on the agenda for next time if you'd like. Take a look at it, really give some thought to it. What would you like to see? What kind of data is missing on here? You know, and some of the idea is also to be able to put this ultimately out on the planning board webpage so that people can see exactly the same thing, what's going on in the city. So, Wendell, anything else for us? Greg, go ahead.
So that was going to be one of the questions. Where is this document going to live?
I actually don't have a plan for that. I imagine this document would probably be part of your package. I'm speculating here, but I imagine this document would be part of the monthly package. So.
Yeah, the whole part is getting it sorted out first and then putting it somewhere that we can access and the public can access it.
Okay, I have a few specific questions. Do you have any status updates where the two first major site plan projects are currently, the Barbie project and the Bullfrog project?
Not off the top of my head. I didn't plan to answer for where these were at exactly. I mean, So the Barbie project is in building permit. That's the status. We're just waiting for some of the inspections to get through. And I don't know where Bullfrog is.
Okay, and then I have one other question, going back to the right-of-way issues that you were addressing. Can you update us on the status of the Russell property down on East Bay?
Yes, so they are applying for so they went for an appeal, and Director Meehan, if she's still on, she could correct me.
I
didn't
just want to caution, if I understand that's in the court,
Yes,
so I want to
yes,
be
let
really,
me
really
answer this,
careful.
please.
Yep.
If I may, Chair, members of the board, this is in litigation now. We don't have any updates for you at this time.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you. I think we're good. Board comments. We'll start this end with Doug.
None further, Chair, thanks.
Thank you, Doug. Bob?
No comments at this time.
Okay, Ed?
No comments.
Thank you. John?
Not really germane to the planning board, but I just wanted to comment that the ice rink that was here during Christmas, I think was a great addition. Just my skating days are over, but just walking around downtown and seeing families, kids, high schoolers running around downtown during a time where it would be, essentially dead, I think is a great improvement. And I wanted to, I guess, recognize the people who planned it and executed it. I think it was a great ad for Christmas.
I agree. Thank you. Fred?
I have no comments other than, John, are you thinking about starting a hockey league?
No, Fred, I wasn't. I'll watch it on TV.
It makes me think back to when my kids were skating, they'd go out there with the chairs, go along, so we could be out there with walkers instead, so with on ice skates, they work equally well. And Fred, anything else? Yeah, I would agree. I thought Winterfest, it was led by the folks in community relations in the whole city. Every single department had a role in this. Everybody did such a fantastic job, as well as I'll give a shout out to the garden club because I'm in it, but I'm going to do it anyways. That with the Christmas trees and the lights and that Mike set up in the Franklin Square Park, the park was absolutely phenomenal. I think we had somewhere between 800 and 1,000 people show up. Great things are happening in the park. Great things are happening in the city. The only comment that I would make, speaking of great things happening, is that I would like to remind, and I don't know who I remind, but that the planning board does have a role in the courthouse and the design of it as a police station. I will probably show up at an alderman's meeting somewhere along the way, reminding them that we do have a role in the design and it's in the ordinance. And I would like to, whoever's listening. The other part is, during November, as Wendell mentioned about some of the things that were sent over to the Board of Aldermen with respect to ordinances and proposed ordinances, UDO changes, because we have a new alderman and a new mayor, I want to make sure that we give them the same opportunity, and they deserve that same opportunity. So along the way, Mo and I will be working on a package that will pass by everybody to send that over again so that the whole board, including Mr. Gross and the mayor, have an opportunity to review these as well, to make sure that we're heading, as a board that makes recommendations, we want to make sure that we're heading in the direction that they want us to head in. So I'd like to make sure that we do that. So hopefully we'll have something either by March or April that'll work out with the work that we have to do in the UDO as well. Mo and I have also talked about, with these UDO changes, that we could be looking at what's the best way to do it. And it's not just the best way to do it, but how to track them. Because it could be a lot of work, and it could be a couple of different subcommittees, somebody taking this part and another group taking this part, and then coming together so that they all fit. But, we don't want to get lost in the trees because it could be a lot of trees going on. So just keep that in mind as we go through 26. So that's all I have. If there is nothing else before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We're not, we don't do that anymore.
Oh, we don't.
No,
I
we don't.
apologize.
But thank you. Yeah, that was, it was requested, it was reminded to me that the liaisons do not have a role in the board meetings, committee meetings, that they are here to observe and report back to the Board of Aldermen. So it was requested that they be dropped off the agenda. As much as we would like to hear from them, if they want to talk, they can do it at public comment. So it was a request by them, and I appreciate that guidance. So with that being said, can I have a motion to adjourn? Somebody, we're going to be here all night. John, thank you. Do we have a second?
I second.
Doug, thank you for the second. Motion been made and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, abstained, so voted. Motion carries. Thank you. Excellent meeting.